So there's a lot of resentment between men and women nowadays, and it's just growing by the day, it seems. And here in my state where I'm at, it actually has not been too bad over the past few days, specifically that I've seen. Like, things have been pretty relaxed for the most part. Still a little bit of spiritual attacks, but nothing that I can't handle. And yet we see a lot of different kinds of women online and in a lot of these bigger cities starting to shave their heads or swearing off all men and joining this 4B movement. And I think this is where men are really hitting their second wind and they're securing the patriarchy. Now, this is actually a good thing as far as I can tell, because when we have men that are in charge, that are competent, that are resourceful, that are useful, that are knowledgeable and have integrity, things just seem to get a lot better in our societies. And so whenever we have women, though, that are going through these kinds of situations where it's too much for them to handle, and they're supposed to be in leader positions, things go a lot worse, like way worse than incompetent men. And that's just a fact. Now let's take a look at what these women are saying, and because I'm kind of sick of having to look at this woman, but we'll listen to what she has to say.
Like, I full on removed myself from Hinge, Bumble. Like, I didn't even think twice about it. There's no way I am letting any man near me.
Well, no man. I don't know how many men are going to want to be near you anyway, sister. Sorry to say that. I don't want to be rude, but, you know.
For the next 4 years, I am going to abstain from schmex with men. And funny enough, I actually just broke up with my boyfriend.
Yeah, this is another trend on TikTok, which we'll get to in a minute. But this is another trend. Apparently, women are telling other women to leave their husbands and leave their relationships just because of the patriarchy. And it's like, okay, look, they want to turn men against women, and now they're turning women against women because the women that are not supporting the women are now being ostracized. But here's what you have to recognize. Women only want to be moving with men or people in general that they can feel safe with. And if they don't feel that kind of safety with you, they're not going to join. And even if there is a lot of peer pressure, it's not going to happen.
Ain't no way in hell I'm leaving my man. I'm not here to judge anybody doing this 4B movement, but telling people to divorce their husbands is crazy.
Yeah, that's an absolutely truth statement there. So this says in South Korea, the 4B movement was an offshoot of national protests against the spy cam epidemic, where women were often unknowingly filmed during intimacy. The country's president said in 2021 that feminist movements were blocking healthy relationships between men and women in the nation. Shocker. Okay, so let's take a look at this woman now. You're going to get a load of this. We'll just listen to her.
I've been seeing a lot of women on social media shave their heads for the reason to repel men. And if this is your reasoning, you should not do it. And literally the reason being that men are really, really attracted to this. You will attract men more than ever. You will get strange messages on social media. There are also pages on social media dedicated to women shaving their heads. Strange, right? Because I was unaware. But if
whoever is messaging that Teletubby with the septum piercing, find them and shake them and wake them up. For goodness sake. For goodness sake.
You want to shave your head for yourself, to start connecting to who you are more, to feel more connected to your femininity, to embrace who you are, and just look like an overall badass, then yes, you should definitely shave your head. But you should also do it when you're ready. So if you are not ready to let go of your hair yet, don't do it, because it takes a while to grow back. But if you've been thinking about it for a while, I highly recommend it. I've been seeing a lot of women on social media.
Looking at the comments here are just hilarious. So she said what she had to say. She thinks, and according to her experience, because we don't want to negate women's experiences, right? Believe all women. Believe all women. But she's saying that she gets more attraction because of her shaved head and that septum piercing. And you got to read these comments here. The men are, I guess this is what she's referring to as the men here. They actually want what they say they hate. No, that's women. That's not men. See, and this is the difference between men and women as well with attraction. Men actually know what they're attracted to most oftentimes. It just doesn't always mean that it's what they need, right? Like, and it's the same kind of thing with women too sometimes as well. Like, the kind of men that they're most attracted to is not always the men that they need. And it's vice versa with men. A lot of the women that men are attracted to are just very beautiful, but they have nothing else to offer. And let's see what this lady says. We can't have anything, I swear. Oh my gosh. Wait, I got 100% more weird male attention when I had a mohawk. I bet you did. I bet you did get some weird male attention, because those are the weirdos that, like, masculine men are not attracted to women with mohawks. Golly. Like, these people are literally demented. They're literally lost in the sauce of demonic possession, I swear. And if you go through, if you just look up on TikTok, women shaving their heads, 4B movement, you literally have, within the last few days, you have videos and videos and videos. Look, this was, I mean, you just can't make this up.
Well, a new movement is sweeping across social media in response to Donald Trump's 2024 election win. It's called the 4B movement, where women are cutting their hair in solidarity, voicing their stance against policies they feel don't support women's rights and freedoms. The name 4B stands for Body, Beauty, Brain, and Beliefs.
Body, beauty, brain, and beliefs, was it?
Representing a woman's right to control her own life and choices.
When a woman controls her own life, it goes to crap. And I want to bring out a scripture here. This is from Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 11, 14 and 15. It says, "Doth not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him? But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory for her and to her. For her hair is given her for a covering. But if any man seem to be contentious, we shall have no custom, neither the churches of God." So it's actually frowned upon for men to have long hair in the Bible, unless that man is contentious. So then they have no such custom. Like, I've gotten people telling me that I need to cut my hair and all that because I'm a man and, like, it's not right. And, I mean, I'm not planning to let it get longer than this, but I didn't really like my hair super short anyway. I kind of look funky, to be honest, with shorter hair. It still looks okay, but, like, my head, I've got, like, a flat head in the back. And so if my haircut is kind of weird, if I don't have a good barber, which I do now, but if I didn't have a good barber back then when I was getting my haircut, it was just kind of strange. But anyway, that's kind of beside the point. The point that I want to make is that For a woman to have long hair, it is a glory unto her. So what these women are doing, spiritually speaking, are they're sacrificing the glory that God has given them for the sake of the devil's beliefs. Like it said, the 4Bs were body.
The name 4B stands for
body, beauty, brain, and beliefs. You don't really have you don't really have much of a brain if you just shave your head because your candidate lost the election. Like, how is it the case that this is normal now? How is it the case that this is normal behavior? I don't know. You guys tell me, but I see a lot of men beginning to wake up, and I think that that's what everything that happened over the past week was really about. It was about men. It wasn't about women. It was about men. And I think partially the reason is all these highly solipsistic women are upset about it because they want to be the center of attention. They want to be the cornerstone of attention. And they don't understand that there's another way to garnish attention, and there are other ways to really demonstrate that you have a voice. And it's not by shaving your head. It's not by screaming. It's not by flashing your breasts, because that's what like all of these leftist women do as well. I mean, you see this all the time. There was even, what was that portal that like I would look it up to show you guys like the image, but I can't remember what exactly it was called. There was like this image of a portal where it was more like a screen, but it was like you can view the other side of the world at the same time. And so there was a screen, and it was like showing in New York, and then it was also another place in Poland or something like that. I don't know. It was somewhere in Europe, I think. And so people across the world would be able to like say hi to each other on the street simultaneously. It was just kind of a fun thing. And then apparently a woman in New York or wherever it was flashed her breast, and they had to close the whole thing down. And it's like, this is the behavior of the leftists. This is the behavior of these crazy, toxic women that do not want a man and yet need one more than ever before. Because as the Bible also says in Corinthians here, I believe it was that same, it was 1 Corinthians 11:8. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. So then it says further on that, where was that? It's the verse before. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of God, but the woman is the glory of the man. Okay, so talk about peacocking. So a man is supposed to be the image and the glory of God personified. That's why Jesus was a man. That's why he was a man, was because he was meant to honor the, and plus he was a better leader, and he would be able to do certain things more appropriately. There's a reason why we call him the Father in heaven, okay? Or why we call the Most High the Father in heaven. So this is a very, how do I say this? It's almost like the sub, how do I say this exactly? Like, I want to be able to articulate this in the most proper fashion. The subsequent and the effects of what's going to happen because of this, the subsequent effects of women shaving their head, going their own way, it's not going to have the same kind of impact that they're hoping it would have, I think. Because not only are they automatically helping abortions already like be lowered, they're purifying their bodies, which is what men would want anyway. So I think men without even really meaning to. And this is what I've said this for literally months and months, if not years by now. I've been saying this for months and months, that if men were able to just flip the switch and not simp for these women anymore, we'd be able to live in a much better realm and domain here on Earth, because that's what we're meant to do. We're meant to occupy Earth. We're meant to replenish the Earth. And we would be able to replenish the Earth and heal the Earth if people were able to look at this kind of stuff and see what's happening and notice that it's actually for the better of mankind that this is going on. It's actually for the betterment of society that women are going through this kind of stuff, because they need healing. They need to address these issues inside themselves, because obviously blaming other people has not been helping, and it's not going to get them where they want to be. So a lot of these women will continue to blame. And this is another thing that you men have to understand. A lot of the women and the men too are just going to be asleep forever. Like COVID, the pandemic, that didn't do much for many of the people around the world. Okay. It didn't, when I say it didn't do much, what I mean is it didn't wake people up to the atrocities that are in the deep state, that are in the globalist system and all this other stuff. It didn't wake them up to this. And yet we've had so many other things that have happened. Like, it's astronomical, everything that's been going on. And yet they're continuing to fall deeper and deeper into degeneracy. We cannot help a lot of these people, unfortunately. And yes, these are the same people that need to be reached the most. But these are also the people that do not want to take accountability, because, as I said before, the subsequent effects of what this movement is and where it's going is not necessarily going to be what people believe it's going to be that are participating in it. I think it's going to do one of two things. It's actually going to heal the society, or it's going to continue to drive the wedge between men and women even more so than it already is. So men are taking back their leadership, and thank the Most High for that. And we're continuing to secure the patriarchy, and I think that's a good thing. I think it is. And I understand if a lot of people will disagree, but you got to say, man, you got to admit, things have been like, we've been building momentum over the past week more so than the past month combined. So at least that's the way that I feel. And it definitely feels that way just in life in general. So I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see. But I think this is an important topic to talk about, because this is where we're heading and this is where we're going. So with all that being said, I do want to invite anybody that is interested in joining the Regal Change Academy to do so. We have the free Discord, where you have that godly community and a bunch of free resources available. Then we have the paid community, where we have a weekly group call, a weekly Bible study, other kinds of classes available, and the godly community there. Our engagement is going off the charts over there recently, and it's been amazing to see the growth and the progress of the people. And I want to thank everybody for moving over from YouTube over to the X and the Rumble platform, specifically X, because that is going to be, I have a really positive feeling that X is going to be something really big in the future as well. And with all that being said, I hope that you find peace and blessings this day. And until next time.